They should be putting it out there saying, yeah, that's right. This is what we got. Get used to it. This is what women's sports is now. And yet they don't want you to see it. As you know, the Olympics are going on right now, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on, in the morning hours or in the middle of the day in Paris that we just wake up to, right? And we see, and that's what happened today. Around 8 o'clock this morning Eastern time, we started seeing an extraordinary sight at the women's boxing match where a man from Algeria who was fighting as a woman started a boxing match against a boxer from Italy, a woman. And 45 seconds into it, the woman, the Italian boxer, stopped the fight and said, "No, I'm not going forward with this anymore." You see, this man who was allowed to box as a woman was punching this young woman in the face really hard. And he's a man. And she said she's never been hit that hard before. And so she stopped the whole thing. Now, this man and from Algeria, and then there's another man fighting as well, are allowed to fight because the Olympic Boxing Committee that regulates these things has said, as long as your country issues a passport that says you're a woman, that's all that matters to me. These boxers have already failed testing to prove that they are, in fact, biological men. That doesn't matter. The Olympics have allowed this to happen. Now, I would love to show you the video clip that I just described to you. I want you to see how atrocious, how horrific this was. But I can't. I can't show you that video. Amazing, isn't it? Why can't I show you that? Well, it's because NBC Sports doesn't want you to see it. NBC Sports, as you'll see here, is claiming copyright infringement on all uses of that clip. Now, make no mistake, earlier today, I've seen clips shared all over social media of Katie Ledecky winning her gold yesterday in the 1500 freestyle. It's an amazing moment. I've seen clips of people on a great clip of people on the podium of the women's gymnastics team. I mean, a lot of moments from the Olympics have been allowed to be shared without NBC Sports claiming any copyright infringement. But this clip, they've said, no, you can't share that. We own that. It's a copyright infringement. Mario Nafal reporting on this. The Olympics and NBC are taking down videos of the controversial Olympics opening ceremony, citing copyright infringement instead of addressing the criticism. The action has sparked outrage, as many believe these takedowns are a misuse of copyright laws to suppress negative commentary. Under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, fair use allows for commentary and critique, which raises concerns about the legitimacy of these takedowns. The actions of NBC and the Olympics are not only silencing free speech, but also acting in an authoritarian manner by preventing public discourse on the event. And here's some of the screenshots you'll see, the notifications that people are getting if they share this clip. But fair use is fair use, and I'm not a copyright lawyer or anything, but generally speaking, if something happens that's newsworthy, you're allowed to show that image or show that video if, in fact, you're doing what I'm doing right now, which is providing analysis and commentary and extra content associated with it. So you're not trying to make money by just showing people the video. You're actually providing your own original content to accompany that newsworthy event. It's pretty basic fair use standards. But NBC Sports and the Olympics have drawn the line on this moment. This moment in particular. Shocking, isn't it? Evan Kilgore also commenting on it. The Olympics and NBC are using DMCA copyright violations to remove videos of the demonic opening ceremony. That's right. The last thing they flexed their copyright muscle on was the Last Supper moment. They wanted to stop everyone from seeing the Last Supper and the opening ceremony, getting outraged, and they did put as many copyright infringements as they could, but people worked around it, and hopefully by the time the day is over, we'll be able to work around the copyright infringement of the boxing match. But think about this for a minute. This is not NBC Sports protecting their investment. This is not NBC Sports wanting to make you go to Peacock or wherever they're broadcasting the Olympics right now. That's not what this is about. This is obvious what it's about. NBC Sports has a political interest in you not getting upset about something that is really upsetting. This could be the end of women's sports if people don't step up right now. We've been talking about this for years here in the United States of America, where young men are identifying as women and they're competing, whether it's in volleyball, where a young woman in North Carolina got a ball spiked in her face from a biological male, and she suffered a concussion and brain damage that she still has to this day, a 17-year-old girl, because of that man allowed to compete against women. We've been talking about, of course, Riley Gaines and Leah Thomas and the swimming competition and NCAA swimming finals. If this doesn't stop, women's sports will end completely. And now it's boxing. And the apologists, the champions for this kind of behavior, have consistently said the same thing over and over again. Well, that doesn't happen. That's so rare. You're making a big deal over something that doesn't happen. It didn't happen in the track meet in Connecticut. It didn't happen in the basketball game in Massachusetts. It didn't happen in the swim finals with Riley Gaines and Leah Thomas. It didn't happen in the volleyball match in North Carolina. And it certainly didn't happen in Paris this morning in the women's boxing match. Or at least they don't want you to think that it happens. But it happens over and over and over again. And it continues to happen more and more and more. Bicycle competitions, biological men are winning in women's events. Skateboarding. Taylor Silverman, who works at the Tim Pool show, is a professional skateboarder. And she's had to drop out of events because they're letting men compete against girls. It happens over and over and over and over again. But this moment now that happened in Paris, this could be the turning point. I just said that this could end women's sports forever, but it could also save women's sports. It could save women's sports if we focus on the heroes involved in this story, not the villain, not this boxer who is so clearly a man if you look at the picture of him. No. The heroes like Angela Carini. Angela Carini is the Italian boxer that we're talking about. We believe this clip is free of copyright infringement. We certainly hope so. Because you should see her talk about why she fights, why she has trained all of her life to get to this pinnacle of her sport so that she could represent her country at the Olympics, the spirit of competition. Read these subtitles as she tells you in her native language exactly why she does what she does.
Non so se si sente. Lui è mio padre. Io ho fatto l'ultimo chilometro perché un giorno mi sentii stanca. Prima di Tokyo mi sentivo stanca. Dissi, babbo, sono stanca, gli allenamenti sono intensi, però io non mollo. Lui mi disse, Angelina, babbo, un campione è un po' come quando combatti, è un po' come il ciclismo. Il campione quando vede l'ultimo chilometro lo sai che cosa fa? Pedala ancora di più. Allora tu arriva a quell'ultimo chilometro e pedala, vai fino in fondo perché io sarò sempre con te. E così ho fatto. Fino alla fine ho combattuto con sangue negli occhi perché volevo a tutti i costi questa vittoria.
You know, there's a reason why sports resonates with people all around the world. That's why the Olympics are so popular, why the World Cup is popular, why all sports are popular. Some international sports like the Olympics, but also the sports that we love every day is because of the human stories, because it affects the human condition, that we can all relate to the passion, to the emotion of it. And that emotion, that passion, that love, that drive, that dedication to her father, it ended today with her on her knees weeping in the middle of that boxing ring because she got punched in the face 3 times in 45 seconds by a man. And she was forced to fight against a man. And she said, enough. Enough of this charade, enough of this theatrical escapade. Enough of the lie that this is women's sports, because it's not. And everyone knows it. but we're forced and compelled to play along with it. And NBC Sports has such a political interest in their political correct narrative about transgender agendas that they won't even let us look at the boxing match itself. If they're so proud of this, if they think that there's nothing wrong with this, if they really believe that this dude from Algeria is in fact a legitimate woman worthy of being able to fight against other women, then why don't they want the whole world to see it? Why are they blocking us from talking about it and sharing it and showing it to you? They should be putting it out there saying, yeah, that's right. This is what we got. Get used to it. This is what women's sports is now. And yet they don't want you to see it. They're censoring it. They're in the business of censoring things to push their agenda. Well, I said we have to celebrate the heroes. And yes, Angela is a hero. There's another hero. Frankly, I think even more heroic. Irish boxer Kelly Harrington this morning. Kelly Harrington is the gold medalist. You see it right there. That gold medal is from the last Olympics in Tokyo. She won her division. She is the reigning gold medal champion in her weight class in women's boxing. And she announced today that she will not step into the ring with a biological male. This is what needs to happen. It's not easy. Imagine, think about the effort that she's gone through her entire life to reach the pinnacle. She is literally the champion. She's the best, and she's willing to give that up. Hand it over to somebody else who she could probably defeat instead of bastardizing the integrity of the sport that she loves by living out a lie, by putting herself in a position to say, oh yeah, absolutely, you're a woman just like me, because it's a lie. What a hero. What a hero, Kelly Harrington. Hopefully this will start a trend. Hopefully this is where things change. Yes, what we saw that we're not allowed to show you in Paris today in that boxing match, that could be the end of women's sports as we know it if this is accepted. But this is also a turning point where this could save women's sports. If these brave women are championed, rallied around, lifted up as the heroes that they are, the real champions here are the ones who refuse to play along and who refuse to fight. Sometimes stepping away from the fight, stepping away from the competition, choosing not to compete is the most heroic move of all. The real move of a champion. Who better to check in on a champion than Martina Navratilova, a left-wing liberal gay activist and champion in her own right multiple times in women's tennis. She, echoing J.K. Rowling on social media today, first J.K. Rowling, says, watch this thread. Of course, I can't show you the thread she wants us to watch because it's been taken down. The video has. Explain why you're okay with a man beating a woman in public for your entertainment. It's not sport. From the bullying cheat in red all the way up to the organizers who allowed this to happen, this is men reveling in their power over women. I agree. These are two women of the left. I agree with them. Everybody talks about unity. Why can't we get along? Why can't we agree on things? We agree on this. Let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya, my liberal friend J.K. Rowling and my liberal friend Martina Navratilova, because this is one thing we got together. Martina replies and says, exactly right. This is on the IOC, that's the International Olympic Committee, and those in power who make the rules. It's a travesty and makes a mockery of all Olympic sports. And meanwhile, what do we get from the media covering this? Well, hopefully this is an outlier, but let me give you a quick example from BBC. The boxer in question is Imane Khelif. There's the picture of him after he won today. And the headline, Imane Khelif progresses after opponent abandons the match. That's how the BBC is reporting on what happened today. Everything that I just described to you, to them, the big takeaway, this guy advances after his opponent abandoned the match. Oh, although I'm sure they got all their pronouns correct. And of course, when I say the pronouns correct, I mean raw. You see, to use the right pronouns in a case like this you'd be called a bigot. The only way you can correctly use pronouns when describing this story is if you actually are factually inaccurate and grammatically incorrect. Then you're okay. That's the world we're living in. And that's the world that needs to change right now. And to bring it back home here to domestic politics, understand something. Everything I just described to you that I'm not allowed to show you because NBC Sports has a political agenda, but everything that happened today and that political agenda NBC Sports has, it's embraced by, promoted by, celebrated by, and in some cases, it's been litigated by Kamala Harris, a liberal San Francisco, California Democrat who is fully in favor of the policies and agenda that led to that poor Italian woman getting punched in the face by a man earlier today in Paris. Make no mistake, this election is about very important big issues. And that may be the biggest of them all.